Good morning everyone. This is the last video of the second chapter of Fundamentals of Human Geography, the world population, distribution, density and growth. Today we will take up last three topics of the chapter like impact of population change, demographic transition, and at last we will discuss about the population control measures. Here we have, let me remind you that we have already discussed about the topics like patterns of population distribution in the world, density of population, factors influencing the distribution of population. That was about the first video. In the second video I have discussed about the population growth, components of population change and migration. And in my third video I have discussed about the trends in the population growth, doubling time of world population, spatial pattern of population change, and today I will discuss these last three topics like impact of population change, demographic transition theory and population control measures. This demographic transition theory is very important from the examination point of view because on and often the question is asked from this topic. So, let us start the first topic, impact of population change. Can you tell me what is the meaning of this impact? Impact in fact is an effect, and we will have to discuss about the effect of the population change. How does population change? You remember? The population change takes place due to birth rate, the high birth rate, the death rate, the decreased death rate or migration, isn't it? These three are what? These three are important components for changing the population. Okay. Now, one very important thing is here children, that there is a small, suppose a small increase in the population would be there, definitely small increase would the small increase in the population is required in growing the economy, and if it grows beyond a certain limit, that will leads to problem. Do you agree with this? Yeah, of course, that a small increase will be required in growing the economy because population as a resource is required for the growth and development of the economy, whereas if it grows beyond the certain limit, definitely that would leads the problem. I can give you one example, like in your class, suppose 37 students are there, and if it would be 57 or 67, definitely that would create a number of problems in your class. So, just like this, that in total population or in base population, if it increases beyond a certain limit, that would create number of problems. We will discuss the problems later on. Okay. Now, the excessive depletion of the resources is also a matter of concern, while the second thing is there is a relation between the resources and the population change, right, and the population, whether it is growing or whether it is decreasing. Now, the excessive depletion of the resources is also a matter of concern. Depletion of resources because the nature has provided us different types of resources, right, and we'll have to use these resources at certain limit because we have to focus on sustainable development, as well as one more important thing that we'll have to look for, we'll have to keep these resources for our future generation. So, if it would be excessively depleted, that's a matter of concern, that's a matter of problem. Now, it indicates that resources that are now supported a population earlier, the availability of resources in the earlier or in the beginning supported a population that was sufficient for the population. But if the population, with the passage of time, if the population increases, definitely the exploitation of the resources would also increase, and then what would happen, it would be difficult for the population, it would be really difficult to maintain the population, because on the one hand that the population is increasing and on the other hand there is a depletion of the resources. So, there would be the negative relation between these two, right. Now, in box you can see the annual population growth. I have given you that the annual population growth in India is 1.64% and the annual population growth in the world is 1.05%. Okay, now what about the second one is the ill effects of population growth. Well, with this mind map, I can explain you each of these ill impacts or effects. What does it mean, ill effects? This is about the negative impact of the rising population, right? The negative impact of the rising population, we'll have to discuss it in detail. The first one is the food shortage, then the scarcity of potable water, then land degradation, loss of marine resources, right? And then the depletion of forest resources. Now, if we start focusing on, or if we start discussing one by one in detail, you can see that the food shortages and the first one I have given you here, the first point is, or negative impact is the food shortage. The food shortages and uneven distribution of food. More than 80 crore people do not have enough to eat. The death is due to hunger. Okay, so the food shortage, there would be definitely or scarcity of or lack of food. The food supply, how will it be possible? How will it be possible for any nation to feed up the rising population, because population is growing at an alarming rate and the source and the resources are limited. So a time will come, there will be the shortage of or scarcity of food to feed up. Second one is the scarcity of water, and that too the potable water, drinking water. Consumption of contaminated water resulting in diseases. Potable water, because we are utilizing, we are exploiting this resource excessively, right? Water, and this is either mismanagement of the water, we are doing it, mismanaging of the water, mismanagement of the water, due to which that even the areas, even there are certain areas which receives the sufficient amount of rainfall, they suffer from the scarcity of water. This is, what is this? This is in fact the mismanagement of water. Now, the third one is your land degradation. What about the land degradation? For example, in Africa, 30% of farm land is degraded. In Asia, this ratio is 27%, and in Latin America, it is 18%. It means that there is a degradation of land. The quality of land is degrading day by day. Due to what? Due to either due to urbanization or that we are excessively utilizing the land in different ways. Okay, now loss of marine resources. What about decline? You can say decline or loss of marine resources. For example, the water of the river Nile is so heavily used that little reaches to the Mediterranean Ocean. Navigation, fisheries, and the different ways of using this Nile river. So a little amount of water is reaching or it reaches the Mediterranean Ocean. So any increase in demand or shift in allocation will also increase the tension. Okay, so that is what the about your depletion or marine resources. Now, the fourth one is your depletion of, or the fifth one is in fact, is your depletion of forest resources. You can see one, I can make you understand by giving this example that each year 1.6 to 20 million hectares of rainforests are lost. For what? What is the reason? You should find out that if there is a loss of rainforest, then what is the reason? Why there is a loss of, why there is a huge loss of not only rainforest, I have given the example of rainforest, but in the world you can see that there is a loss of forest along with the forest resources. What is the reason behind it? Okay, you should find out. Now, then there comes the migration, environmental dislocation, pressure of migrants on developed countries, yeah, of course. What is given? The migration. There is a huge migration that is taking place. Huge migration can be internal, external, or even if it is internal, rural to rural, rural to urban, urban to rural, and then urban to urban, right. This is what the tendency of the migration. I mean, these are in fact these are the different types of migration that takes place. In this way the people move, right. And then you can see that there is the tremendous pressure on land and natural resources, as I have discussed you earlier, and higher rates of soil degradation. Higher rates of soil degradation, how is it? Because there is a industrial pollution, then faulty method of agriculture, excessive use of fertilizers, over irrigation, all this will degrade the land. All these will degrade the soil. The quality of the soil will be degraded day by day due to all these. So, there are number of ill impact or ill effects or negative effects of rising population. Now, let us discuss one important theory, that is the demographic transition theory, right. What is that demographic transition theory? One, and second one, what is this demography? Demography, as you know, that the study of population. Now we will have to discuss demographic transition, how the population is changing, whether increasing or decreasing, whether through different phases of different phases of pollution, we can population, we can see that how the population has decreased or increased. There are in fact three phases, right. Before discussing those three phases of demographic transition theory, let me tell you something about this demographic transition. What is this? Demographic transition refers to a population cycle that begins with the fall in death rate. That begins with the fall in death rate. There is a fall in the death rate, right, and continues with a phase of rapid population growth, right, the second, and the third is concludes with a decline in the birth rate. So, what is being focused on here? That the birth rate, there is a fall in the birth rate, but the population continues to increase, but at last there will be the decline in the birth rate. Okay, and this definition is given by Dolan. Now, theory of demographic transition is a theory that throws lights on changes in the birth rate, death rates, and consequently on the growth rate of population. Okay, growth rate of population. Now, remember children, the population change. What are the different components of population change? You must remember that there are three important components. Which are those three? Birth rate, death rate, and migration. So, on the basis of these three, if the change would take place in these three, definitely you can see the change in the entire population or base of the population, or base population, you can see the change in the base population. Now, what is that growth rate? Here what is one word is given, that the death rate and consequently on the growth rate of population. Growth rate, increase in number, okay, increase in the total population, increase of individual in the number. Now, one thing is given, that the relationship between birth rate and death rates changes with economic development, and a country has to pass through different stages of population growth. Remember, in the first chapter from India, People and Economy, I have discussed with you the four phases, the first, second, third, and the first phase is before 1901, right, and then 11, then 21, like this we have discussed till date. Now, here we will have to discuss about that the demographic transition in context to the world, or at world level, we will have to discuss that there are three stages of the demographic transition. Okay. Now, when you see the three stages of this, well, before discussing with you the three stages, let me tell you something about this demographic transition through this diagram, or through this figure. What do you see here? You can easily see here one very important thing, that there are one stage, second stage, and third stage. And in the one stage, what is given here, that there is the high fluctuation, stage 2 expanding, and the third stage low fluctuation. You can see here the low fluctuation. Okay. Now it means that in the first stage, again telling you that there is a high fluctuation, second stage expanding, and the third stage shows the low fluctuation. Now in the first stage, that this stage is marked by high fertility and high mortality. Okay, and then high fertility, high mortality, and the death rate is also high due to epidemics and variable food supply, and therefore the population growth is slow and life expectancy was also very slow, was low, and people are mostly, people in fact in the first stage you can see that the people were illiterate and then engaged in the agriculture, due to which the large families are preferred. Level of technology is also is or are why I have used, because in the first stage that the this demographic theory focus on. Okay. And if you look at this in the first stage, then the high birth rate, high fluctuation or high fluctuating death rate, that had happened. And in the second stage, you can see that the high birth rate and falling, there is a falling of the death rate. And the third stage, you can see here what is given, that in the third stage you can see that the low birth rate and decreasing, but still high birth remained. Okay. Now let me tell you once again that in the first stage, this stage is marked by high fertility, high mortality, and the death rate is also high due to epidemics and variable food supply, and therefore the population growth is slow and life expectancy is low. People are mostly illiterate and engaged in agriculture, and due to which that the large families are preferred, and level of technology is also low. In the second stage, now there is a question that why high birth rate? I have just now discussed with you high birth rate, right? Now what is that high? And if we discuss about the high birth rate and why there is a high birth rate, number one is given here, that high infant mortality rate. But can you tell me what is this infant mortality rate? Infant mortality rate is the death of young children under the age of or below the age of 1, and this death toll is measured by the infant mortality rate, IMR, which is the number of deaths of children under 1 year of age per 1,000 live births. So infant mortality, what is that? Once again telling you that infant mortality is the death of young children under the age of 1. Okay. Now then comes that children are considered as a part of workforce, as just now I have discussed with you. Hence people like to have more and more children. They consider the children as their asset. And in the second stage, what do you see here? Why low death rate? Why low death rate? Improving health services. Then the stage has come in which that there was the improvement in the health, that improvement in the health services, and then check on famines and diseases, and then the reduction in infant mortality rate. Or in other words, I can explain like this, that in this stage the expansion of population remains high because the death rate reduces due to improvement in sanitation and health conditions, but fertility rate, what is that? Birth rate remains high. Though at the later stage, it declines with time. Okay, with the passage of time, it declined, but the mortality rate also decreases, infant mortality, okay, and the net addition to population in this stage remained high, right? And in the third stage, what do you see? That the low birth rate decreasing, but still birth rate. And why reduction in birth rate? What was the reason that why there is a reduction in the birth rate? Yes, cost of bringing up of children rises, low infant mortality rate, career orientation of women. These three were the important reasons. Now, in other words, let me explain you that in the last stage, both fertility, birth rate and mortality that decline and considerably, and population either stabilizes or grows slowly. I mean, there was a control over birth rate and death rate. So, it stabilizes or grows slowly, and the family size is deliberately controlled as the population becomes urbanized and literate, and awareness among the children, awareness among the women, and women education, girls and women education. So, of course, that the urbanization and the population becomes urbanized and literate, and there is a high level of technical know-how, technology developed in this stage. So, the high technological knowledge contributes deliberately in controlling the family size. Then awareness, right, awareness and the different methods and the different ways how to control this birth, or I mean birth control, how to control this birth rate, right. So, that was about the demographic transition, the first stage, the second stage and the third stage. Again telling you, in the first stage there was the high birth rate and high fluctuating death rate, and the second stage high birth rate but there was a falling death rate, and in the third stage low birth rate and low death rate. Now again, this is, I am telling you that this theory is very important one, okay, because the questions are asked either to describe last stage, second stage or in general. So, this is important from the examination point of view. Well, here again I have written why high death rate, high incidence of diseases and hunger, lack of health facilities, whether the population will rise or remain stable depends on birth rate, death rate and population, right, and structure, especially age structure. Now, let me tell you something about that measures for controlling the population. What were the measures, or in general, what are the different measures how to control the population? This is what family planning measure, check on early marriage, late marriage, education, awareness and tax disincentives. Now, let me tell you something about that the people, if the people are well aware of these measures, definitely they will control the population, isn't it? They will control the population, or the population in general will be controlled. Now, if we discuss about the family planning measures one by one, let us discuss in brief. Family planning is the process of limiting the number of children by using contraceptives, or access to contraceptives must be very easy, so that the family planning can be done. Now, the second one is check on a child and early marriage. This measure will bring down the birth rate and will help in controlling the population growth. Third is your late marriage. Even a year's postponement in each age group will decrease total fertility rate. And your third one is education. People, particularly in reproductive age group, should be educated about the advantages of small family or the benefits of small family, and they should also understand the ill effects of the large families over population and overpopulation, ill impacts or negative impacts of the overpopulation. Now, tax disincentives. What is this? Higher rates of taxes should be charged from people with the large families, and they'll have to, I mean, the government should impose such a some kind of some kind of or the government would if the government would impose some kind of taxes, definitely the people would not prefer to have the large families. Okay. Now, there is in the last paragraph in your book one theory, I mean the name of this person is given, Malthushin. Okay. But Malthushin theory, we'll have to discuss about the Malthusian theory of population control. First of all, who was he? He was an English clergyman, but he focused on how to control the population. He saw, okay, he saw that the population, if the population will increase, there will be the depletion of the resources and over exploitation of the resources. He focused on the excessive exploitation of resources. So he said that population is increasing with rapidly than the food production, and if food will not be available for everyone, so people will die either of hunger, diseases, and they will fight for the food. So there must be the control over the food. There must be the control over the large families or over population. Then the nature will control the population. According to him, he said that if you do not control the population, definitely nature would either punish in the form of minimizing the population or reducing the population. Then we should not wait for nature's punishment. Then according to him, that nature will control the population by harsh punishment, then we should not wait for the nature's punishment. So it would be better for us to take or to prevent these to prevent the checks or the preventing, or it's better that we will control the population, and we should not face any kind of natural punishment, or nature should not punish us. So according to him, that the population should be controlled, number one, and because we have the limited resources, and we'll have to focus on sustainable development so that our future generation will also avail should also avail the facilities which we have at present. And the second one, that if we do not control the population, definitely it is nature who will control the population by punishing us. So what we have discussed here, we have discussed about the three topics like demographic transition theory, the stages of demographic transition theory, and we have also discussed about the negative impact of the population, and then we have also seen that what are the how to control the rising population. Then I have given you one assignment, that on the basis of the topics which I have discussed with you, there are only 4 questions which I have given you, and which you will do it in your notebook. And that's all for today.